Welcome back to the funniest movie ever. This week, Delta Psi has the upper hand. That's right, we're talking Neighbors. But first, Rip, how are you? What's new? And what are you watching?
Good, chaps. What am I watching? So, unfortunately, we had to bite the bullet and buy Paramount Plus for the month
Okay.
to watch the season finale of The Challenge.
Yep.
There's been a movie on there I've been wanting to watch for a while now. Have you heard of Snack Shack?
I have heard of Snack Shack.
Yeah.
Snack Shack.
So it's like one of those sneaky, I think, 2024 comedies that, people, there's no comedies out this year. Well, guess what? There is one. It's called Snack Shack.
I think I watched about 40 minutes of it.
Really?
And didn't finish it for some reason. I can't remember why.
Okay. Do you remember what it was about?
Yeah. It's like the two kids who like they're up to like money making schemes all summer long kind of thing, right?
It's a classic case of like new hot girl in town comes between boys deep in like summer shenanigans.
So I didn't get that far into the movie for like that to come up. The intro is what I remember where they're like selling beer and like brewing their own stuff in the backyard, like it was pretty funny.
No, it's pretty cool. I mean, keep in mind, I think these kids are like 12.
Yeah, they're also at the racetrack, like making like crazy parlays.
I will say though, I hope this is like a sign that coming of age, best summer of my life movies are back because like I can't get enough of those.
It's a great trope. I like it.
It's so good. I mean, the movie itself, it's like a little long, drags a bit in the middle. Definitely some weird character dynamics, but overall, like it was fun. And I mean,
nice.
I thought it stuck the landing for sure.
Right on.
Gabriel LaBelle, he's having like a sneaky good start to his career.
That's Fableman's kid, right?
Fableman's kid.
Young Spielberg.
Yeah, he plays Lorne Michaels in Saturday Night. And
he does?
He does.
That's so wild because like this movie, like Snack Shack must have been shot like years ago.
I don't know, man. The range on this kid. Also, good Canadian boy.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Good for him.
Even better, Paramount Plus obviously knows me despite just signing up because it started Everybody Wants Some right after.
Oh, perfect. That's a great movie.
Solid banger of a double feature.
Did you go right through? Like,
because my partner's seen it like 7 times because I put it on whenever I get the chance, and she fell asleep immediately. So I was like, well, guess it's number 8.
Well, I guess I'm watching this. I love that. That's great. That's actually awesome that it like played something that you were super down to watch afterwards.
Yeah, right?
You just kept rolling with it.
I mean, I can see the similarities.
Yeah, for sure. It's in the same sort of vibe. Like it's like Snack Shack definitely has some of that like dazed and confused feeling in it. Like younger kids and stuff like that.
Just comes back to like best summer of my life movies.
Exactly.
I love them. Also, despite it being released in November, I finally saw Gladiator 2. I'll put a pin in this because I know you also saw it.
Yeah, I also saw Gladiator 2. Should we just talk about it now? Just get it out of the way.
Down to it?
This is we've been talking about this on the pod for a while. Like almost every week we kind of mention Gladiator 2 and we finally saw it.
Yeah. Not together though.
Yeah. I ended up renting it on Amazon Prime for $24.99. Pretty pissed about that price tag.
Did your partner watch it with you?
No. She's never seen the first one, so like granted, fair enough. Like I get it.
I mean, did that really matter?
No, you don't need to see the first one for this one, like because they do that cool little intro of the stylized graphic kind of novel where it's like showing you the events of the first movie.
Yeah. Okay. So first of all, spoilers.
Yes.
Okay. Tell me your thoughts.
My thoughts, honestly, it is a little bit of a letdown in terms of story.
Okay.
But they nailed the action sequences and all the fights and all the Coliseum stuff, all the battles, like all of that stuff was amazing. The story though was a convoluted mess in my opinion.
I literally have convoluted mess written down for story. It was long and it felt long to me.
Yeah, it felt long.
In my opinion, I think my biggest gripe is like they clearly didn't know how to reach the final fight between Denzel.
Yeah.
And what's his name? Paul Mescal.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Yeah. I kind of okay. So I appreciate that they took like now the Gladiator trainer is actually going to be the villain in this one. That's an interesting new little spin on it.
Sure.
Like I get that take. But him being Maximus's son kind of rubs me the wrong way a little bit too, because it's like the whole first movie is Maximus like he's just in his feelings about his wife and kid dying. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
no, for sure. But I mean, like, let's not forget there's some chemistry going on between the two in the first one, right? Especially in the beginning. I think it's like the opening 5 to 10 minutes. There's a little.
It's funny
you can tell.
I also like convinced myself that it was okay by being like, 'Ah, soldiers in Rome, they slept around. This is normal.
Absolutely. I will say though, and I find it funny that my apprehension was initially around whether Denzel would fit, given like he's a force in any movie he's in, right? And I was worried he was going to steal the spotlight in this because he's not the Gladiator.
Right, right.
But that said, I actually thought he was great.
I thought he was pretty good. I liked him, even though he wasn't doing Roman voice. That's fine.
That's fine. I don't really get the buzz around a possible supporting actor nom, but
I didn't know that was happening. But sure.
I mean, I've seen it in a couple posts.
He was good, but I don't know if it's good.
No, I think he was perfect for what he did, and I won't say anything more than that. I'm fine with that.
I really enjoyed Pedro in this one. I thought he was great. Did you like him?
No, I didn't.
You didn't like him.
And that's what I find funny. I went in thinking like Denzel is like such a miscast here.
Right.
I walked out of that movie thinking I 100% would have replaced Pedro.
Oh,
if I had to replace anybody, it would have been him. And it's not because I don't think like he wasn't good or he's good. He felt misplaced for me. He's also kind of like he's getting a lot of buzz lately, right?
Yeah. Well, and
to see him in a role like that too, it just kind of like,
was it like
he was for me?
He was like too secondary, too background, maybe for us.
I just think like he would have served either better in Denzel's role or just not been in the movie at all.
I mean, that's fair. That's a fair take. I think Paul was pretty good too. Paul Mescal, is that his name?
Yep.
Yeah, he's good.
He was great.
The one thing that like I like Joseph Quinn and that other guy as the twin emperors. I like that because it's a thing in the Roman Empire that there's like these basically child emperors who are like just fucking drunk on power and shitty people and like terrible and stuff like that. So I kind of liked them being the emperors and villain, but I just like why all they had to do is give me a throwaway line of how they came to power because it's not mentioned. Like nothing is covered like post Maximus dying. Like they don't tell you just what the fuck happened that these two clowns are in power. Like they don't even look like they should be able to take power in the first place.
That's fair. No, I don't disagree. I mean, also if it's like already approaching 3-hour runtime, why not just like slip that in the very beginning, right?
Yeah,
when we're getting word over block, right?
Yeah, exactly. Give me a crawl. Give me an opening title sequence of set the stage for me because I don't know when I know a lot about Roman history and like when emperors came to power, it's like either because they had the backing of the army or like they had the Senate in their pocket, all that sort of stuff. These two didn't look like anyone would be backing them ever. Like, so I just didn't get it. It just didn't make sense to me.
I just thought of a casting suggestion.
Yes.
How would you feel about instead of Pedro Pascal if we did a little nod to Troy here and it was Eric Bana? Hector!
Honestly, well, that's Brad Pitt that says that.
Yeah,
so.
But he says, who's Hector?
Hector's Eric Bana, yeah. I mean, that's fun.
I could see it. No,
yeah, I can get behind it. I'll get behind it. Yeah. So yeah, basically my overall thoughts are battles were cool. Overall execution felt a little lazy and convoluted.
CGI was whatever.
Yeah.
But I will say, I mean,
fucking sharks in Colosseum.
That was cool.
Pretty cool.
I was into it. Pretty cool.
I feel like Dr. Evil would have loved that. All right, let's move on. I also this week, the only other thing I watched this week was Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring.
Okay.
What are your thoughts on the Lord of the Rings movies? I don't feel like
partner and I went back, I want to say last year, and we actually rewatched 2.5 because she fell asleep during the third and was like, don't you dare finish it without me. And then we just never finished it.
Yeah, the third one's a long one too.
As a child, I think we were pretty young when this came out, right? Yep. I remember the first one being my least favorite of the three. As a kid, like I thought it was like pretty boring. Going back though, like as an adult, I think I just have more of an appreciation for the storytelling.
Yeah.
It all really comes together like quite smoothly.
Oh yeah.
And for someone who didn't read the books, like it's all explained very well. It's easy to follow. The acting is great.
Yeah. Cast is phenomenal. Top notch. Whenever I watch these movies, it's just, like you said, you have an appreciation for them because they're crafted so finely. Like every detail is painstakingly made and like there's just such like attention to that stuff. And then it makes me really sad that the Hobbit movies exist because they fucking suck in comparison.
Were you excited too when you heard they were coming out?
So I guess kind of thing. Like I was like, sure, like 3 more movies, maybe. They did 3 movies on 3 books. Now they're going to do 3 movies on 1 book.
Yeah.
Kind of felt like too much to me. And then there's the whole like making of it all where they did away with all the practical stuff and just everyone was on a blue screen. And like,
that's the biggest mistake.
I'm going to be harping on this thing forever. Like I really do find like physical locations just add something
Yeah.
to a movie. They just help you feel like it's lived in and real and like you're there.
I don't think anybody's going to knock practical effects. I don't know why we steered so far away from it. I mean,
I hope we get. I know it's more expensive to do practical effects. Like that's one of the main drivers.
if you're already
especially
spending like how many hundreds of $1 million on a movie, at least like put the money where it matters. You know.
That's fair. That's fair. Like one of my biggest gripes too, and I point this out anytime fucking The Hobbit's on TV or some shit like that. The fucking feet, like the Hobbit feet in The Hobbit versus the Hobbit feet in Lord of the Rings are completely different. Like it's like they put like scuba flippers on them. Because you can see they're literally walking, like, you know when you do the pencil thing where you shake a pencil really funny and it looks like it's rubber?
Yeah.
That's what their fucking feet look like in The Hobbit versus Lord of the Rings. And that drives me up a wall and I don't know why.
I got to be honest, Tarantino, I've never noticed that. Yeah. That's wild to me. That's a wild take.
Because it's just so, like, it's so jarring when you see this person trying to step over a threshold of a door and their foot's just like fucking wobbling like rubber. It's like, what is going on down there?
Have you seen the Prime show?
Rings of Power.
Did you bother with it?
I started it, never kind of finished it.
I heard it was kind of a flop. That's not really like, I stopped at the movies. I don't even think I saw past, I want to say the first Hobbit I saw because I remember being disappointed. And then I think I just quit.
I think, the Rings of Power, I think I've heard that the second season gets better, but yeah, I didn't finish the first. There's one moment in Fellowship of the Ring that I don't know if you remember this, but when I saw it back this time, it gave me very big McLovin in Superbad vibes.
Okay.
So you know the scene where McLovin in Superbad, he drops the beer in the liquor store? Yes. And he's like, oh, someone should really clean this up? Yeah. So Boromir basically does that to Aragorn in Fellowship when they're at Riverdale. Is it Rivendell? Yeah, Rivendell. The elf's place. And he's picking up the Isildur sword. He just fucking drops it on the floor and then walks away. It's like... I mean,
no, I don't remember this, but I'm
it's
laughing.
Just so funny.
Your laughter is contagious because you said like 6 words I don't recognize.
Yeah, I'm trying to explain the Lord of the Rings lore stuff to you, and you're not like picking up on any of it. So Viggo Mortensen's character,
who was really good,
the elf place, and but yeah, he just drops the sword. Like
you're like fucking Mad Libs over here.
Yeah. It was one of those moments that I don't know. I thought nothing of growing up and stuff, but when I see it now, I'm like, that's so funny that he just drops this like priceless heirloom and then like basically runs away. Doesn't pick it up.
I love it. Sure.
Okay, let's take a short break, and when we come back, we're going to talk Neighbors.
Look, new neighbors.
Wow.
What do we got?
Is that a fraternity? We have to go over there. We've got to be cool.
And we say, by the way, keep it down.
Well, we won't say it like that. Just like, keep it down.
What are you doing with this?
Keep it down.
Just don't, we've overworked it. Just wanted to say, welcome to the
You're
hood.
welcome.
Also, if you could maybe just...
Keep it down.
Anyway.
Make sure if we're too noisy, call me first. Don't call the cops.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll go tell them to...
Yeah. Are you ready for a show?
Call the cops.
That almost seems so lame.
Do it anonymously.
It's a good idea. They do our dirty work for us. Oh, no. You sold us out.
You called about your neighbors?
No.
We have call ID. We're cops. Everybody has call ID.
You guys just woke a sleeping giant. Welcome to the darkness, bitches.
If you want some, come get some.
We're throwing a Robert De Niro party. Should be pretty loud.
You called the cops, you violated the circle of trust, fucker.
Just go.
You're upsetting Jinxie Cat.
This is our home.
It's our home. Oh!
We're having a hard time hanging on to our balls. They're so big.
I'm a mama bear.
Claws are out. I have a darkness inside of me, and you will see it.
Dude, we missed the airbag.
And we're back. Okay. Today we're talking Neighbors. Let's go over the nuts and bolts of this movie. It was released in 2014, directed by Nicholas Stoller, who also did Bros in 2022, Forgetting Sarah Marshall in 2008, and he did the sequel to Neighbors as well. The writers on this one are Andrew J. Cohen, Brendan O'Brien, and those two also did, I think they had a bit involved in the second one, and they did Mike and Dave Need Wedding Dates and The House with Will Ferrell. The cast is a big one. It's a big ensemble cast. How do you feel about the cast of this movie?
I mean, I was going to bring it up in my general thoughts, but the cast, it knocks it out of the park.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody's perfectly cast, and what I find most impressive is for being such a large cast and for being such a short runtime, I feel like everybody gets their moment to shine in the movie. Like it's just written well like that. You know what I mean? I don't
100%.
think we're missing a minute with any of the big players in this. And I think overall, like, yeah, they just did a great job between the writing and the casting.
Yeah, it's a great cast. I'll list it off for you. So we got Rose Byrne, Seth Rogen, Zac Efron, Dave Franco, Ike Barinholtz, CMP, that's Christopher Mintz-Plasse, and a smattering of other recognizable people throughout. I'm going to kind of touch on that when we get to those parts, about a bunch of cameos that pop up in this movie.
So the cast is great. I want to talk about a show that's probably not as popular as it should be. My partner and I watched it, I think last year when it came out, and I thought it was great. Platonic.
Yeah, Platonic.
So
yeah.
it has both Rogen and Byrne in it. Best friends in it. They're not together. And I'm not going to spoil anything, but just seeing those two, like, you know, cook for 30 minutes.
They have a dynamic.
They have a great dynamic.
They really
the chemistry's
do.
so good. And like the stories in the episodes too are like relatable.
Yeah.
They're not, you know, I don't know, out there. Like I've found anyways, like maybe as an adult, that it's basic shit that I can relate to, and like, you know, the problems of it. And again, I guess they're a bit older than us because they have kids in the show, but yeah, I mean, it's all really great, and I really hope we get a second season of that show.
One thing that took me a while to like it took like one episode to get used to. Like I was like Rogen's look in the show.
Yeah,
is it's so much different than what you're used to seeing him as, the dyed hair and all that stuff. But I mean, it comes around and it ends up just working for him.
He's doing his best impression of Jonah Hill.
Yeah, really. No kidding. Oh, that's great. A fun bit of movie trivia that I wanted to like dive into. Do you remember that this was originally called Bad Neighbors?
So was it originally called that, or is it just an alternate title? Because it goes back and forth.
Yeah, it depends on what platform it's on, but like the one I see the most now is Neighbors.
Yeah.
I think I saw it as Bad Neighbors when it originally came out.
Oh, see, I'm the other way. I feel like when I
Okay.
saw it in theaters, it was called Neighbors.
Oh, that's interesting, because I like this. Like, I want to go and find like more movies that like change their title post-release.
Okay.
And the only one that I could think of is Live, Die, Repeat, which
Okay.
is Edge of Tomorrow, which is the Tom Cruise movie. So they changed it to Live, Die, Repeat after it was in theaters, and it came to it must have been DVD back then.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I also remember that as Edge of Tomorrow.
Yeah, because it came out as Edge of Tomorrow and then became Live, Die, Repeat. It might even still be, I don't know, like it's one of those movies that just sort of changes its name when it wants to. But yeah, that's the sort of cast and crew of this movie. Quick synopsis. We have Mac and Kelly, who are played by Seth and Rose. They're new parents settling into their first family home when the worst neighbors of all move in, a frat house. So this kind of sparks a battle of wits where Mac and Kelly take aim to take down the frat and retake a quiet night's sleep, basically. That's the overarching theme of this movie. So you kind of already touched on it. You touched on the cast, but what were your opening thoughts when you first turned it on?
So the last time I saw this was probably, I want to say like in grad school on a rewatch.
Nice.
I bring that up because I want to say like at the time, I felt I definitely related more to like Efron and Franco.
That's funny, yeah.
But now as we're again like creeping up in age and on rewatch again, because I haven't seen it in so long, I definitely felt more like Rogen.
Yeah.
And was just kind of like, keep it down. Like I get it.
Yeah,
You know what I
for
mean?
sure. I like that. That's such a fun like little, I don't know, almost like thought exercise of like this movie works at different points of your lives for different reasons. And I totally relate. Like when it first came out, 2014, we're pretty early in uni and stuff like that. So we're all about Efron and Franco and like the frat party, like that stuff was like really funny to us and the pranks and whatnot. But yeah, now I just want to be like Mac and, you know, roll a joint every once in a while and
Get pumped to watch Game of Thrones.
Get really crazy when Khaleesi comes on screen. Okay, let's dive into the rundown of this movie. We get our introductions and our first little setup. We're introduced to Mac and Kelly. They've just moved into the home. They have a newborn baby, and they're trying to keep that spark of youthful exuberance alive. This opening is pretty absurd. What do you think of them having sex while the baby's in the room?
I mean, it's a really good bit. Like it's so funny. There's some like solid quotes too.
Yeah.
Like I'm taking you to Boner Town, bitch.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, he's like, oh my God, this never happens to me. I've never had sex on a dining room chair.
like saying shapes fucking each other. Like
Yeah.
it's quality, right?
She doesn't see anything. She just sees shapes.
It's
Oh, that's great.
quality writing.
He's like, oh,
quality
I
bits.
have to get up. I have to turn the baby around. a funny line from Mac. He says, he goes, "I nearly came," and they're both like super stoked about that. So after this, Mac is leaving for work. Kelly's staying at home with the baby. Clearly, there's a little bit of like she wants to leave the house too, sort of vibes going on. They've been probably, I don't know, stuck in this house forever, it seems like. That's when we learn that the house next door is also for sale. And I think at this moment, there's a gay couple looking at the house.
This is so good too. Yeah.
And Mac goes, like, "Oh, this is the dream." And he's like, "Well, actually, the dream is a Taco Bell opens up next door." And like, I feel that so much.
He says to them, "It's a fabulous neighborhood." I just want to pause on that take for a second. There's two of them moving in. I guess the gay couple, right?
Right.
That house is fucking massive.
Yeah, it's a frat
They're not
house.
looking at that house. Like, that house has what, like 8 bedrooms in it?
Yeah, they're expanding their family. So we then catch up with Mac at work, and this is when we're introduced to Ike Barinholtz's character, his Mac's best friend Jimmy. I really love this sequence because Mac is like talking to his boss. I forget what he's talking. He's kind of trying to set up like a play date with him and their kids and stuff like that. And so Jimmy comes to the rescue. He's like, "Hey man, we got that joint file to work on." And the whole time they're just dropping these weed bits. Is there any lines in here that you were liking?
Yeah. Well, first of all, it's the Mendelsohn file.
That's it.
And
Sorry.
he needs it by 4 p.m. This is your boss talking, not your bro. Before we dive into the weed bits here, can we just talk about how annoying that is? Like, don't be my friend, like, be my boss. Don't come over and be like bro or whatever. I fucking hate that. When
bosses do that, is that what you hate?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. I got you. Yeah.
Okay.
We work in different industries. It's fun when my boss is a little bit more fun.
Yeah. He says, "You want to hit up the skate park with me after?"
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Let's go shred.
Okay. Now we can talk about the joint file.
Yeah. File that to the THC Corporation because we're in the weeds.
It's pretty thick. But we're going to blaze right through it.
I love it. It's so good. There's so many and I love that the boss the whole time is just absolutely clueless. So then later on, they're outside actually smoking the joint, and it's great. The boss comes out and catches them, and Mac just swallows the roach. Like he just swallows it whole just immediately. I feel like I've seen Seth Rogen do this in more than one movie, which is great.
He's definitely drawn on some real life experiences there.
Oh yeah, he's absolutely had to do that before.
Have you almost been caught smoking pot?
No, I only started smoking pot when it became legal. Basically, like, I mean, I don't know. I guess like once or twice in high school, but I've never been caught.
I like that makes me laugh hearing you say that because you feel that you haven't almost been caught smoking pot, but your parents have absolutely fucking known when you've come home and you reek like come on. Looking back now, it's so obvious.
But I didn't do it. I didn't do it a lot in high school and stuff like that. So I don't know when that would have happened. Dad, if you're listening, it wasn't me. It was Rip. Why do you think we call him that?
Yeah, fuck. We'll actually touch on that later.
Okay, so next up we have Mac and Kelly back at home, and they're going through that we're old now stage of life where they want to still be young, so they're trying to prove to themselves that since they've had a kid, they haven't changed. They have a house and a kid. They can still party though. They can still hang out with their friends. Their friend Paula calls them up and invites them out, and this is when we get baby's first rave.
Baby's first rave.
I actually really enjoy the scene. So it's really like kind of wholesome. Like they're super excited to go out with their friends. They're chanting baby's first rave. Everyone's getting in on it. But Paula, while she's on the phone and Mac and Kelly are kind of like bickering and decide what to do, she's got a lot of like really fun lines. Did you catch any of them? One of my favorites was just drop it at a fire station.
The baby drop.
Yeah.
The baby drop is so good. I really feel like if this movie came out a decade later, we would get like albums or something called like Baby Drop.
Yeah, Baby's First Rave.
Baby's First Rave, yeah. You tell me Sabrina Carpenter's not going to release an album called Baby's First Rave?
She's probably working on it as we speak.
She's working on it right now, yeah.
There's another great one Paula has is she's like doing her makeup in the thing, and they're like, "Well, what are you doing?" She's like, "I'm using the little window to do my makeup," and they're like, "Why aren't you looking at us?" It's like, no one looks at the other person when they FaceTime, which is so completely true. Like every video call I've been on in the last 3 years or so since working from home, it's like I only look at myself to make sure I'm not doing stupid weird shit with my face. Like I don't ever look at the other person.
I want to fucking look at you people.
Yeah, I'm gonna look at myself. Make sure I'm not making an ass of myself. Ultimately, in this moment, Mac and Kelly are going around the house. They're gathering all the baby supplies that they need. They need the diaper bag needs to be resupplied. They should bring the jumper thingy. They end up trying to bring everything and then just fall asleep in the hallway, which I think is a really great bit too, because they wake up in the middle of the night just like, oh my God, okay, let's go. We're going to the party.
And was it Paula calls back?
Yeah.
Look at all this food I ordered. I'm not even hungry.
All that food looks like she was like literally at like a buffet and just like filled up every single plate. It's amazing.
Or just ordered like everything off the menu at Denny's.
Yeah, that's another good one. So the next day, the problem emerges. The moving trucks show up. Mac and Kelly are stoked. They think they're finally going to meet a nice new family moving in. It's not a family. It's a brotherhood. Yes, a frat house is moving in right next door. And obviously, this is the worst case scenario for a new homeowner.
How the hell did they not anticipate something like this? They live on campus.
Yeah, that's something that like the real estate agent really dropped the ball with, or like just didn't, like was like actually hiding it from them, which is also really funny.
I mean, like you went to university, I guess same as college in this case. When you know when you're on a campus, like you're driving through those streets.
Yeah, I guess so. Like
to me, like I wouldn't even entertain the idea of this.
It's not. It's less that you know when you're on campus. It's just that certain neighborhoods have student housing,
and you know it though. It's so clear.
I mean, I knew it because I was a student, but I don't know if anyone just visiting in the town knew it. You know what I mean?
Like, I'll buy it because I really like this movie, but that's a fucking red flag.
What did you think of Mac's description of Teddy when he first sees him?
The description of Efron and Franco?
Lay it down for me if you have
He's
it.
the sexiest guy I've ever seen. Something a gay guy designed in a lab. And then he moves on to Franco and goes, that blonde guy in the red sleeves, he's a handsome guy.
Yeah. But when he describes Efron's arms, his arms look like two huge veiny dicks.
You know what I found interesting this time around? He looks small compared to what he looks like now.
Well, yeah, he's huge now.
It's crazy. Well, I mean, I guess this movie came out 10 years ago. So Efron's 10 years younger. I was shocked.
He's 10 years younger and like 10 years smaller. Yeah.
I just remember him always being like, you know, the jack guy that he is now. And like, he's pretty, I mean, he's obviously very fit in this movie, but it's a noticeable difference in size.
When you see Iron Claw and he's just like...
I think that's what I'm thinking of.
He's just completely out of his mind in that one. Yeah, it is a stark contrast between the two movies. And it's also like, I love when you go back and watch like an old Efron movie and you compare it to like Efron now and like you see his like kind of versatility, which is really nice. Like in Iron Claw, it's one of the saddest movies I've ever seen and I completely buy whatever Efron's doing in it.
Yeah.
This is one of the funniest movies I've ever seen and I completely buy what Efron's doing. Like he plays both roles so well.
I'm into it. I'm an Efron fan.
Yeah, me too. So Mac and Kelly decide their best course of action is to confront the frat right away, you know, make peace with them, get on their good side, and to let them know to keep it down.
Keep it down.
I love this bit that when they're going back and forth about how to do it. Oh, just throw it away. We're just gonna throw it away. Just keep it down.
Yeah, the hand motion is everything. My partner and I, we say this all the time.
I was gonna say that.
Yeah,
we do the same thing, right? Just we do that, or we do the friends. Just keep it down when Ross does the hand motions to be quiet. Those are the two that we got.
Keep it down.
So good. So they go over to the frat guys and they introduce themselves with a peace offering. It's a single joint in a little Altoids tin with a lighter, which is great. But before this, there's one moment from Rogen that I fucking love. They walk up to them and he goes, "Wicca, what's up?"
Yeah.
I can't even say it with it. It's just the most awkward thing ever. So in this scene, is there anything sticking out for you?
Yeah, I mean, I actually think it's pretty funny you bring up that particular line because in my notes I have, this is like actually a pretty smooth line. He walks up and he says, "In this neighborhood, we don't keep off the grass."
Yeah.
Which is actually pretty dope.
Yeah,
I was like, that was smooth. Good for you, Rogen.
But before that, he's getting the nerves out. That's why he's got the Wicca was up.
Yeah.
There's also the moment afterwards when they're like saying their goodbyes. He goes to like, Efron goes to give him a fist bump and Rogen just puts his whole hand over his fist.
How many times have you seen me do this? Like
so many times.
This speaks to me.
Yeah, I've seen this happen to you
my bones.
A lot.
Yeah.
You don't know how to bones people.
No, I felt that one for sure. That was tough. I also want to point out Rose Byrne just absolutely killing this scene. I think they were like walking away and she's like, "Legalize it, yo."
Yeah. She does like a weird, she goes, "Legalize it," like with her hands. It's so funny.
No, I thought, I mean, to be fair, I think that they handled the situation really well.
Yeah.
Because I'd be intimidated as shit, man. I don't want to be around youths ever.
The two Utes.
I recently got a gym membership now, and this high school kid, he's benching next to me. I look over and I want to check out how much he's lifting, right?
Of course you do.
And it's more than me. And I think, whatever, no big deal. You know, like sort of defending my ego by thinking, whatever, he's just a kid. That fucking hurts, man. Now I'm in my head at this age and I'm thinking, oh, that's just a kid. He can lift more than me.
Dude, he's got fucking like puberty shit going through him right now. He's got all those hormones in his veins. He's fucking.
I just want to know, like, when did that shift occur in my brain that I can, like, justify how little I lift compared to this 17-year-old kid who's like on 5th period spare? Like, that fucking hurts.
Well, over the age of 30, it's all downhill from here, right? It's like you're lucky if you can still get to the gym in the morning and move a little bit of weight around. Okay, that night the frat has its first official meeting in the new house, and we basically get an intro of who these guys are, of who the frat brothers are. We have Teddy, we have Pete, Scooney, there's Garf. Am I missing any of the key players there? Then it's all the pledges, right? This meeting opens up with one of like this great, like kind of like cold open style line where it just cuts to them in the house and it's chivalry above self. You're like, what's going on here? They're having a frat meeting. President Teddy is regaling the brothers with a big speech about getting onto their legendary wall of party moments, basically. And he says this line, which I love, much like Scooney's cock, this year will be legendary.
I love that. Fucking McLovin's whole purpose in this movie is to just have a big dick. Yeah. Like, when they casted him for this, he must have been like, yeah, fucking right. Sending texts to all of his boys, like, yo, guess what my role is in this movie?
He sent a text to Jonah Hill and fucking
Michael Cera.
Yeah. Okay. Hit me with the history of party inventions, because I know this was probably a big moment for you.
It was. First, I just want to point out before we get to the montage here that Garfield is just chilling in a wheelchair.
Oh, yeah. Isn't he like balancing it too?
He's just chilling in it, like as if it's just a regular seat.
That's so funny.
It's like the most college thing in this movie is just having random shit like that.
Yeah.
I mean, the montage it's fucking fantastic. We got The Lonely Island. We got Workaholics. We got Nick from New Girl.
Yep.
Did you write down his name in this?
I didn't, but I saw it on the casting thing. I should have. What was it?
It's Sebastian Cremington.
Yeah, who's been drinking since the butt crack of dawn. Right,
I give you the motherfucking boot and rally.
So this is great. They're going through the history of party inventions, and you get the invention of the toga party, which is what does he say about it? They're at a retelling of Caesar or something like that when one of their party friends gets like a beer spilled on them. I can't remember how it goes. So we get the toga party, the invention of it. Obviously, Andy Samberg and his little Lonely Island crew are there in their cameo. Then we get the beer pong, the invention of beer pong, and I love this.
This is a good one.
And an errant ball lands in his beer, and he just drinks it.
Yeah, the cadence is so perfect.
The way he says it, it's so great. And we've already talked about the boot and rally. It's so good. There's another really great moment too. Is like they have all these speeches going on in the fraternity. Do you remember like the whole speech or?
I don't remember the whole speech. I just remember we don't get divorced.
We don't get that and the can you take me higher?
I actually do have that part written down, but I wanted you to be the one to sing it.
It's so great. This movie's like first 15 to 20 minutes are just so quick and fast, and they set the scene and set the stage so well. I think it's been like a common theme through all the movies we've watched this season. Obviously, after this frat meeting, since it's a frat, they're going to throw a party immediately. They're not waiting for anything. Mac and Kelly can't sleep because the party's so loud. They're kind of debating, do we go over there? Do we call the cops? What do we do? Obviously, they decide, let's go over. Let's ask them to turn down the noise. Let's be on their good side for this. And so they do that. Do you have anything to call out here while Mac and Kelly are talking to Teddy and Pete at the door?
Kudos to Teddy and Pete. Like, that is the play, right? There are neighbors. Like, let's get him in here.
Super smart.
Super smart play by them. There's a reason why Teddy's the president of Delta Psi. Delta Psi, you bitches.
It's a really good moment because while Mac and Kelly are telling Teddy and Pete like the noise is too loud and stuff like that, you really do get the sense that they want to go in.
Yeah,
like they're looking in the door, and Mac even goes like, "Oh my god, is that a 2-story bong?"
Yeah,
it's so great, and I love that Teddy invites them in, and we get like a really great sequence here. Like, I don't know, just hit me with some of your favorite stuff from this party scene that Mac and Kelly now attend. I mean, I
feel like people are gonna think I don't like this movie because I'm harping on like impracticalities, but they just leave the baby at home.
They got the baby monitor.
That's fucking crazy.
You got the baby monitor. You got the baby monitor right there. Even the way that was Pete said, he's like, yeah, you got the baby monitor. It's fine.
Okay. I want to start with Rogen pounding the mushrooms.
Yes. Amazing. Because really, it's great because they go, yeah, maybe just the tour. And then smash cut to Mac stuffing his face with mushrooms.
He says, I've been eating mushrooms since before the internet existed. And then there's a part where he pretends to throw up. He's looking in all the cans and stuff, but really he just goes back for more mushrooms.
They're trying to keep the bag away from him the whole time. And then after that, he's kind of like passed out, and they're doing peekaboo with Mac.
Yeah.
And he's like, peekaboo. So you talked about why they leave the baby at home. Well, you have Kelly. She's dancing with the girls in the other room, and she's showing them all the baby. She's like, oh, you can see her right here. One of the girls asked her, like, what kind of phone is that?
Yeah.
Anything else?
Would you like to move down to the basement now?
Yeah.
You want to talk about Dave Franco's erection trick, or do you want to talk about the drawing first?
So I had it on my list, the drawing first, because that's the random like meditation moment, isn't it?
Yeah.
Where you have all this party happening, this craziness, and then just everything cuts silent, and they're all sitting in the room going, well, one of them paints a picture.
It just makes me think, like, why don't we do this more often?
Well, where we have meditation parties and paint pictures of each other.
I mean, yeah, it sounds pretty sick. You want to take a bunch of shrooms, then draw each other?
Because it's so funny the way they're all like so zenned out, and Pete just goes, hey, you want to see something cool? And that's when we go back upstairs, and they've gathered literally the entire party together to watch this feat of, I don't know, weirdness. So Pete basically can just get an erection at will. I think that's what the joke is here.
Take a bow.
It would be 1,000 times weirder if the crowd and everyone wasn't bought into the bit, because they're all like, oh, cool. And what is Rogen goes, take a bow.
Take a bow.
This is what after this, Teddy shows Mac his room where he keeps all his supplies and ping pong battles he singles out. And Mac has a great line where he goes, my bros is always stealing my patties.
That's how I talk around my sister's friends. It's so awkward.
It's hello, fellow youths.
It is.
Or fellow kids.
You're trying so hard to be cool and like relate, and I guess really just not make an idiot out of yourself.
Yeah, 100%.
And it's like, no matter what you say, like it's gonna come out like, my bros is always stealing my patties.
Yeah.
That's just at the end of the day.
Awkward fucking line ever. But it's also like, yeah, you give him some grace because he's had a whole bag of mushrooms. And then we get the Batman conversation.
So you and I have been doing this bit forever.
Yeah. This is a long running bit with us.
So for the context here, we had a friend named Rachel.
Yeah.
And I guess the bit is just
Rachel,
where is she?
Where's the trigger man?
Which, looking back, oh my God, like I feel so bad for her. Rachel, if you're listening, I'm sorry. That's so annoying.
There's like that one kid we knew whose name was Bane. You never heard the end of it either.
Go on.
Yeah, where's the trigger man?
You think the darkness is your ally?
I was born in it, molded by it.
Bane, I'm not sorry if you're listening.
Yeah. And then they talk about getting walkie-talkies, which honestly, I've wanted you and I to do this for ages, and I don't even care if we only use them once. If we use them once and that's it, it's worth it to me. It's worth it for that bit alone. So we're buying walkie-talkies after this episode.
If you call me up on my walkie-talkie, I'm gonna feel obligated to talk to you, and sometimes I just don't want to talk to you, chaps.
You could just say, hey, I'm busy right now. Over. And we'll leave it at that.
You had to include over. Well, yeah, how else would I know you're done?
It's also really funny because we get like Mac is kind of like, I don't know, he's like spilling his feelings to Teddy at this moment, and he's like, oh man, I'm old now. I'm so old. And Teddy goes, no, man, you just seem like a senior who took a year abroad.
That's so good. That's such a nice, heartwarming like line too. Yeah. You know, he felt that.
Yeah, and then obviously this whole party kind of gets closed out with they've been partying all night long because the sun's coming up. Teddy and Mac are sword fighting with their streams. And it's funny because you get all the girls, like they were doing the "aww" like about the baby earlier, and they do this about Teddy and Mac's little bromance happening. So that party happens. Did we miss anything? Did we any moments we didn't cover there?
I think we nailed it.
Great, because since this is a frat, they throw another fucking party right away the next night immediately.
So here's my problem. It's fucking 4 a.m. Honestly, this is pretty fucked up.
What?
You got fucking neighbors. You just did the whole like, oh, you know, I take promises really seriously. That's your bro. You're gonna fucking throw a party until 4 a.m. They got a baby.
It's pretty crazy. The audacity of Teddy to tell Mac and Kelly that he's not mad, he's just disappointed. Fucking nerve of the kid.
Wild.
So yeah, Mac and Kelly decide now the time is, fuck it. Teddy isn't picking up his phone. They call the cops. In this movie, we get Hannibal Buress comes in as the cop, who he fucking nails this role so well.
He's in this movie for what, like 2 minutes, like combined. He fucking crushes it.
He has some of my favorite moments of the movie. I love it that the cop just sells them out immediately.
Yeah.
Because I thought, like, oh yeah, we'll just phone the cops. It's gonna be anonymous. It's gonna be no problem. No, right away they're looking out the shades and the cops pointing over at their house and Teddy's getting all up at arms. Teddy basically declares war on them now. Right? You went against your word. Now you're going to pay for it. It's also really sad too because Teddy tries to give him the walkie-talkies. I thought that was a nice gesture.
Yeah,
I'm like, oh man.
Rogen tries to play it cool, like, nah, man, like we're still cool. Like, I'm Batman.
no, we're done with that.
Can we just talk about some Hannibal Buress quotes here?
Yeah. What do you got?
So Rogen tries to blame it on Efron here, right? Saying like, you guys are partying way too fucking loud. Efron pulls out his phone and he's got receipts of Rogen, and Buress goes, "You party with this kid?" And he goes, "Looks like you party pretty heavy."
Because the video he shows him, he's like, "I'm too fucked up." He doesn't have a shirt on either, I think.
And then, of course, the all-time banger, "Don't call us anymore." Rogen goes, "You're the fucking police.
You're like the boy who cried wolf. Don't call us anymore."
You're the police. Like, I'm not going to call you anymore. Like, come on. It's all gold.
So good. As we said, this basically sparks what I like to call a prank war on steroids, basically.
I mean, I guess war kind of implies like at this point Rogen's coming back. He's just taking it.
It's not so much of a prank war as it is like a prank conquering. I don't know. There's a lot of great shit happening here. If you have anything that you really love, why don't you just spit it out for me right now? Like what's got you laughing in this sequence?
Fuck that bush. Franco's response, I was feeling inspiration. What was I supposed to do?
I felt inspired. I love it because he's like, you know what? I'm just gonna have to rip it out.
Yeah, fuck that bush.
Fuck this bush. Yeah. Go ahead. Use your hips.
What does he say? Well, geez, buy the guy dinner first.
Yeah. And then obviously Kelly comes out. Sorry, we should actually say what the bush is. They've sculpted the bush into a person bent over. Sure. Basically, that's what it looks like. Prior to that, you have like the whole trashed lawn, that classic bit. Next up is the exercise ball to the face. And if you've been listening to any of these episodes, you know how much I love an exercise ball to the face. It's never not funny.
Insert clip here.
Yeah, of the noise.
Yeah.
It's probably on par with the dodgeball sound effect, I think. Then we have them buying off the whole neighborhood with their good deeds and stuff like that.
Fucking
the pledge army.
Scoony.
Yeah. Then we get the trying to sell their house. They're talking to the real estate agent. Obviously, the real estate agent's like, you're going to lose half your investment. And Seth Rogen's like, half? What do you mean half? That's all of my money. Pretty crazy. Then you get the De Niro party.
The Robert De Niro party. We've been talking about this bit forever, too. Honestly, I'm a little disappointed in us. Now we bring it up. How have we still not done this?
Done a De Niro party?
Yeah.
We need to. We need to talk to our friends and get a De Niro party happening ASAP because whoever thought of this is like one of the best bits I've seen in like recent memory. Like,
this is one of those things that it had to happen in real life and it was drawn from real life. There's no way someone was just like, thinking of various frat parties that you could do and was like, oh, you know what? A Robert De Niro party. Like 100% one of the writers had to attend something like this.
That's really funny. It's do you think there's any like, I don't know when this movie came out in comparison to what is it, Bad Grandpa? The one that has De Niro and Efron in it.
Oh, Bad Grandpa. Dirty Grandpa.
Yeah, did that movie come out first?
No, I don't think so.
I don't know, or same time. I don't know. It's one of those things. Do you think they were like chatting about this party on the set of that? Like, so what was it like?
Do you think any other actor would work as well here as De Niro? Someone who's done enough movies and enough like notable roles, I guess, to actually dress up as them.
You could probably do like a Nick Cage party, maybe.
Oh, you could definitely do a Nick Cage party. I would say Sandler, but you definitely can't because everybody's going to show up in gym shorts and oversized shirts. Jim Carrey would be a good one.
Yeah, Jim Carrey's got some for sure. Will Ferrell, you can do different Will Ferrells.
I don't know. I think you just either show up as Jackie Moon or you show up as
Jackie Moon, Talladega Nights,
like Ron Burgundy.
Yeah,
okay.
I don't know. Okay, so talk to me about Franco's De Niro impression.
I mean, it's spot on.
It's so good. Whatever he's doing with his face in this moment is just picture perfect.
His De Niro face is on point. The cat's a nice touch.
You're upsetting Jinx the cat. I love, he's like, you violated the circle of trust, fucker.
I'm watching you.
I'm watching you. Then you get Garf as Sam Jackson.
Yeah.
From Jackie Brown.
Yeah.
And they all start going, ooh-ah.
Scent of a woman.
It's like the wrong movie. It's Al Pacino. And then Garf starts doing a speech. And Max is like, that's the wrong Sam Jackson speech.
Are you talking to me?
Yeah, you talking to me?
The realtor gets in on it.
Oh, it's so good. There's so much great stuff happening here. We'll close out this sequence with the baby. They're cleaning up the trash the next day, and the baby puts a condom in its mouth.
Yeah.
Disgusting. Gross. Mac and Kelly's reaction to this, completely warranted. If I have a kid and this ever happens, I'm screaming and running through the hallways of a hospital just as fast, just as crazy, and just as absurd as they are.
We get Jason fucking Mantzoukas.
This is so great. This is one of my favorite lines in the movie.
Your baby has HIV. I can't.
This is how badly this could have gone.
The way he delivers it is, again, one take.
One day, I like Rose and Seth's like reactions to it too. It's just fantastic. Like she starts freaking out. She's like, "Why the fuck would you say that to somebody?"
I can't remember, but like in my memory, for some reason, I just recall Jason Mantzoukas laughing at this, but I don't think he actually does.
I can't remember either. But it kind of makes sense
Like
that he would.
brand,
It's
right?
on brand for Mantzoukas. After this, we get a break from the pranks as Mac and Kelly take their issues to the dean. So prior, they're at home discussing what to do next. Mac gets really dark here. He's like, I'm going to go out. I'm going to get a gun. I'm going to kill them all. he's like, bam, Teddy dead. Pete dead. Scooty dead.
The delivery of it is so
It's
good.
so great. And then they go meet with the dean, who's played by Elisa Kudrow. And she's really great in this role too. Like,
Yeah.
she's only in it for like a little bit. But we get the whole bad headline, good headline thing. She's like, here's what I see. Frat practices safe sex.
Yeah, that's a good headline.
That's a good
raise.
headline. Yeah, I can get a raise from that headline. Or negligent parents let baby eat condom. That's a bad headline.
Rogen's reaction here where he goes, I got a headline for you. Dean at school isn't very good.
Yeah.
And then she's like,
Like, that's a terrible headline. Very poorly worded.
and he goes,
she's like, where'd you learn how to spell or where'd you learn how to write? She's like, I went here.
that's why I'm dumb.
I love it later. Kelly's getting all mad. She's like, what kind of name is Dean anyways? It's what a stupid name. And Mac has to explain to her that Dean is the name of someone who runs the school.
Yeah.
She's like, oh, in Australia, it's called Chancellor.
Yeah. Why have we never asked this? We have Australian friends. Is that a real thing?
I assume it is. Let's ask our Australian friends later. Ultimately, Mac and Kelly decide to take matters into their own hands and to sabotage the frat. So Mac goes out and breaks a pipe and then like kicks it so it's flooding into their basement while Scooney and Garf are downstairs gaming. Everything sparks and lights on fire kind of thing. And this gives Teddy an idea. Dicks in our hands.
Dicks in our hands.
Dicks in our hands.
This is another brilliant bit.
They decide to sell dildos of their own making. And it's just like, what? Sorry, excuse me?
Oh, so Garf is so good in this scene.
Garf is amazing. Garf's mold ends up getting stuck because he didn't shave. And I love, Efron just goes, I texted you. I said shave.
I thought we were taking
Yeah, I
pictures.
thought we were taking pictures, so I cleaned up a little bit. I love it because then Efron grabs the mold, like the shaft of the mold, and he just stares Garf in the eyes. He's like, this is going to hurt. He's like, no, it's fine. It's fine. I'm going to drill a hole. I'll pee through the hole. Everything's going to be okay.
Before that, too, he also says we're supposed to have boners
Yeah, he's like, no one wants a limp dildo.
for cuddling.
Yeah, I thought it was like maybe for after. We also got Pete is using the 3D printer so he can get back to class. And he has, the school has great facilities. You should go to class sometime. Alrighty, so plan B. Somehow the dildos net the frat $10,000, which is completely fucking absurd to me. So they're able to fix the water damage and buy the most massive hot tub I've ever seen. Like that thing is like 20 feet long.
The way he says it, too, like the sickest fucking hot tub.
It's so great. This is when a new revenge scheme is kind of formed to set Teddy and Pete against each other by making hoes come before bros. And there's a big discussion between Mac, Kelly, Paula, and Jimmy about this plan. And Mac's going, no, the history of time, a hoe has never come before a bro. And Jimmy's just like, yeah, it just doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. It's never going to happen.
I mean, as we've seen, even discussing Snack Shack with you, clearly hoes come before bros a lot.
It happens all the time.
You see, what men forget is some hoes are just really hot.
Yeah. That's what happens. Yeah.
In all of these scenarios, that is exactly what happens.
So Mac and Kelly get Paula and Jimmy to help them with their plan. They go back with a peace offering. Again, Mac has rolled them a whole bunch of joints this time, and he goes, seriously, that's all my weed. It's really hard for me to get weed.
If it wasn't legal here, that would be me.
Yeah. Teddy and Pete, they accept them back, and they go into the party. Now Mac is distracting Teddy with a dance-off. Anything here that you're really enjoying about this sequence?
Franco has a little throwaway where he just goes, not another dance-off, implying that this happens all the time.
Yeah. It's really good. Kelly gets Pete and Teddy's girlfriend Brooke together. They do a bunch of shots, and they get them to start making out. We cut back to the dance battle happening, and Kelly's telling Mac, like, you got to get him to look and catch him. And Mac goes, I'm winning, by the way. I'm not really sure if he is, but
I want to pause here to just discuss Franco.
Yeah.
The outfit it's perfect, 10 out of 10. He's got like 4 polos on.
Yeah, and he's got the glasses painted around his eyes.
Glasses, yeah.
It's great. Ultimately, Teddy watches Pete and Brooke head upstairs. Teddy and Pete have a fight, and they grab each other's balls.
Is that how people fight now?
Yeah. Mac has a great comment on it, and then everything goes silent, and Pete goes into his happy place, and Efron goes, why are you so calm? What are you doing? What's happening? He's like, I didn't want to have to use this against you.
It's a blessing and a curse.
Oh my God, it's so fucking dumb, but it's so fucking good at the same time.
Do you think that this ever took off anywhere? Like,
what do you mean?
Like when this movie came out, do you think there was like a month on campuses where guys fought like this?
Just grabbing each other by the balls?
Yeah, as hard as they could.
I don't know.
I guarantee you at least like 3 frats in the entirety of the states tried it.
Probably.
You know what? I changed that. At least 30 frats.
Yeah, you're not wrong. It definitely happened.
Quickly, throw shit off the porch.
It's really
hilarious.
funny. Yeah.
And this scene in particular takes me back to just like ruining people's houses at house parties.
We didn't do that.
We never did that. But we did ruin houses at house parties. Like, I would say we just came short of throwing shit off the porch.
It's such a funny line because everyone gets in on it too. They're like, yeah, of course. I want to throw shit off the porch.
That's exactly how things escalate too, right? It's just like you get one stupid idea and all you need is like 2 people to just repeat back to you what you said and you're fully fucking in.
Oh, it's happening. It's definitely
like if someone's like, oh, we should throw the barbecue off the porch. You're like, oh, fuck, do you think we could do it?
I know we could. Should we? Alrighty. The next day, Mac and Kelly think they're victorious. We had this really funny sequence where Kelly needs to breastfeed the baby because the milk is accumulating. And Mac has a realization. He's like, no, you're like a white Russian. It's poisonous. Referring to the alcohol in her breast milk. Mac then runs to go get the pump. He breaks it, obviously. And then he has to milk her. How'd you like this scene?
He goes for the high five, which is any guy would do that 100%, right?
Oh, it tastes weird to me. Do babies like this? I don't know. It tastes weird to me.
How much of you is traumatized? 1%? 2%?
I'm not gonna lie. Those jokes were really good.
Yeah.
He said we should go wife tipping later.
We should go mom tipping.
Mom tipping. That's it.
Yeah. Just to lighten the mood.
The frat is called in for a meeting with the dean due to the events of the party, and they're put on probation. During this meeting, Garf is there, and he lets everyone know that he had a pot brownie about 25 minutes before coming into the meeting. And then when the dean tells them that they're on probation, Scooney gets all up in arms. He's like, we got the big party plan. We got all those kegs. And he gets mad at the dean. He goes, you going to reburst those kegs? Just calling her out. Anything there that you liked?
I mean, again, like Garf, any scene Garf is in, like he fucking steals the show.
Garf is great. He's fantastic in any scene he pops up. I want to watch more of his stuff. After this, Pete and Teddy run into each other on the quad somewhere on campus. And they make up. And we get kind of, I know you wrote all these down. So
I wrote down a lot.
Yeah,
I did.
I this is literally a note I have. I know you wrote these down. So hit me with your favorite bros before hose lines.
Okay. I'll give you a couple of the basic ones they say, and then we're going to go back and forth with the good ones, okay?
Okay.
Bros before hose, junk before trunk, balls before dolls. Now we're getting into the fun ones.
Yeah.
Mario and Luigi before Thelma and Louise.
I didn't write any of them down, but I really liked John Madden before Jasmine from Aladdin.
That's a good one. Brad Pitt before Grab Clit. Man purses before regular purses.
Oh, it's really great.
What follows this, though, is like a sneaky, funny line, too, by Randall Park, where he asks Efron if he wants to work at AT&T, and Efron goes, "What do you guys do?"
He's such a brick. It's so funny.
He also asks Efron, he tells Efron that, "Oh yeah, my roommate was Delta Psi. I used to wear his tie to get chicks." What kind of fucking tie was that?
Must have been some sick tie.
Probably piano key.
And then does he also talk about his GPA? He's like, "Oh, so what's your GPA?" He's like 2.8 or something like that. Nah, it's like 1. Something
No,
like
he goes, "I don't know, a good one, a good one."
And then Randall Park is like, "Never mind, like we don't want your application." He's like, "What's that mean?" It means you're too dumb. So after the frat is put on probation, all goes quiet between the frat and Mac and Kelly. Naturally, Mac and Kelly want to push for that third strike to get the frat kicked out for good. And they come up with a new plan that includes sending a pledge undercover to record a hazing scandal. They invite Jimmy over, have this brainstorm. They come up with a plan. It's real. There's a couple of fun little throwaway lines here before we get to like the pledge stuff. They're really like they're complaining and Jimmy's really kind of calling them out. It's like, you just hate your boring lives, so you want to fuck with the frat more. And he's like, "Well, they're out there barbecuing." He's like, "It smells delicious in here. What are you talking about?" Which is like a great line to me. Then they set up the meeting with the frat pledges. Ass Juice.
Ass Juice. Great pledge name.
So we're going to stop here really quickly to play a game that Rip came up with. So Rip, why don't you tell us about your game and we'll go from there.
Basically, I think I just texted you. Wouldn't it be fun to come up with some pledge names?
Yeah.
In our group, we all have stupid, ridiculous nicknames. I don't think anybody really enjoys their nickname. So why not come up with some nicknames and nobody's feelings get hurt? I also want to say, 9 times out of 10, whether you're pledging or not, you don't like your nickname.
Oh, no one likes it.
I can relate to this. Do you think I like being called Rip Macho? Sick name for Call of Duty. Douchebag name for real life. That's on me.
Yeah, it is. Hey.
I accept that. I dug my own grave. Now, all of that said, I came up with 3 pledge names. I think you also came up with 3.
I came up with 3 pledge names.
Would you like to kick it off?
Sure. I have Hot Dog Water the Third.
That's... And
I really wanted a like the second or the third in there because it's really funny to me that there's like this mythos that there was 2 other ones.
I like that. And I also like this too because the name's going to follow him around for life.
Yeah.
Once you start to like him post, pledging, you just start calling him HD3.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. Yeah. HD3.
Perfect. My first one is Millhouse.
Okay, yeah, that's a
Simple.
good one.
It's a reference to The Simpsons.
Yeah.
Described as that little wiener kid by Homer, which I think really just sums it up. I also like the idea of making him wear glasses even though he can see perfectly fine.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about frames. I mean literally
with like lenses,
lenses.
like a prescription in it too. Yeah. So it's even worse. My second one is gun fart.
Okay. I have to ask, how did you come up with this one?
Honestly, when you brought me this idea, I was just like, I'm thinking of the most ridiculous shit I can. I'm just going to smash 2 words together and see what happens. And that was one of them.
We took 2 very different approaches.
Yeah, I feel like mine's more in line with the movie so far.
Because my second one is just cake.
That's fun.
There's always a chubby guy pledging, right? And like he just gets piled on for being fat. Cake, of course, probably his choice of food.
It's funnier to me, though, if it's like the skinny guy gets called Cake. My last one is Pubert.
Okay. I like that.
No real reason.
Oh,
just
that's just like
Pubert.
You just like the sound of it.
Yeah, it's just funny.
My final one is Phallic.
Yeah, that's a good
which
one.
is self-explanatory. But I will say I'm not opposed to tacking it onto somebody's first name, like John or Frank. So now you have Phallic John or Phallic Frank.
There's something really funny about that because it's like it's got like Big Mike vibes. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of got that sort of sense to it. So it's really good.
I like that. Phallic chaps. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Funny pledge names aside, we get back to the meeting with Ass Juice, and they meet him at a fucking Denny's or some shit. And they're asking him, we need you to like narc on Teddy. You need to give us the dirt. He doesn't want to. He's like sticking to his guns. He's like, I'm almost done pledging. I can't do it. Then they offer him $1,000 and he's in. Which
I didn't think it was that much money either.
I mean, for a college kid, $1,000 is a lot of money. You know how many cases of beer that can buy?
Infinite
like,
cases.
A lot. So basically, they send Ass Juice into the frat house undercover with these glasses that have a camera in them. Not sure where they got these from, but they're great. And Ass Juice stands up to Teddy as they're being hazed and going through another one of those hazing rituals. Teddy makes a big scene and then like takes him to a back room. And really, Teddy consoles him. He asks him, like, "Hey man, what's going on? You're like one of our best pledges. Like,
Such a great guy.
I'm really rooting for you." And like really starts to console him. He's like, "I wanted you to go upstairs, draw a bath, close the door, use my room. Just relax. Just zen out for a little bit." And then Ass Juice decides, "I can't do it, guys. He's just too good of a guy." And he tells Teddy that the old people, what the old people are up to. Teddy puts on the glasses and starts talking to them in the mirror, and it's so great.
It's so good.
At the end of his little like villain monologue, he does this like jump scare, like where he like jumps at the end. All three of them just freak out in the office. It's so funny.
I mean, I will say, like, draw yourself a bath, take a nap, full season of Girls on PVR. Like, that sounds like a wonderful afternoon.
Sounds lovely, yeah.
Right? Did you notice the half hood he's rocking?
No.
Good half hood.
Yeah.
Efron, yeah.
The wardrobe in this is just, they nailed it in every stage.
Do you think it's that, or do you think that, like, Efron's just, like, a good-looking dude, so it just works? It's
you
that.
probably can't put a lot of stuff on him that looks bad. Just like,
nobody fucking looks like that.
Yeah, no, they don't. He does look like he was designed in a lab. Okay, so we get prankening part 2 after this. Teddy promises them that he's going to double down after Mac and Kelly's undercover plan fails, and so starts the second prank war, which is really just more ass kicking by the fraternity. This is one of the parts that I waited for during the entire movie because I knew it was coming, and I forgot when. Let's talk about the airbags.
Yeah, so this is a Hall of Fame bit, right?
Yes.
I think the frat broke into my car and stole the airbags.
Airbags?
Yeah.
That's so weird. Is anything else missing?
No.
Okay,
Why would they just break in and steal the airbags?
I don't know. We should follow police. Delta Psi has the upper hand. The airbags. There's 3 left. 2 left.
Talk to me. Like, what do you like about it?
So I think my only critique of this is that I think this was in the trailer for the movie.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And that fucking sucks because this is like one of the funniest bits I've seen in any comedy. The first time Rogen hits the ceiling from sitting on the airbag, you die. But then when Jimmy goes up, like you fall out of your seat, like dying. Like it's
so perfectly planted too, just because you have Rose on the phone. She's like, yeah. She's like going out for the day, and she gets in the car, and she's like, the airbags are gone. And Mac is just getting to work. He's like, what do you mean the airbags are gone? Like, where could they go? Like, do you think it was the frat or something? And he sits down and just launched into the ceiling.
And there's just something about Ike Barinholtz. Like, he just has that look.
It's
when this guy gets hurt, it's gonna be funny. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Like, that guy was made to get hit by a car for my entertainment.
He's like 15 rows away from Rogen in the background when he goes up, and it's still fucking funny. So I actually watched, there's a great clip on YouTube where it's a making of for this scene. And they have, like, they're used mannequins, obviously, like dummies. And they have the airbags in the chair. So the airbags actually launch, but they have a huge winch system that rips them into the ceiling. All that happens. And then afterwards, Rogen has to get up on the desk in such a way that he can drop onto the chair and then fall onto the ground so they can cut the two parts together.
Yeah.
And they show that he did it like 3 or 4 times of him like still like he's on like a desk height size thing, and he's jumping his like ribs onto the chair handles and then rolling onto the floor. It looks like it hurts still. Like take a bow, Seth, doing your own stunts.
I love that. Yeah, that's great.
It's a really really great moment. There's a great line though that we missed. After he gets launched into the ceiling, he goes, "Delta Psi has the upper hand," and it gets me every time. Because right after that, after he screams in pain, Delta Psi has the upper hand. That's when Jimmy goes up too.
It's so funny.
It's great that. So all of this ends up sort of causing a rift between Mac and Kelly. She leaves with Stella, taking the baby to Paula's place, and Mac finds the third airbag. So Kelly leaves, and he's like, oh, he's all huffing and puffing. And he takes a seat and just gets launched into the door. Then you get a clip of Teddy and Pete. He's like, oh man, we missed the airbag. That's when Pete starts wondering if maybe they're going too far. He's like, as a child of divorce, I wonder if we're going too far. And Teddy goes, my parents love each other, and I think it's hilarious. Then Mac goes to reconcile with Kelly. Teddy and Pete have another falling out, and it's over basically all of the stuff that the frat believes is just made up bullshit. Like, every frat thinks that they invented beer pong. Every frat thinks that they invented this thing. So Pete's trying to get that into Teddy's head that he needs to start thinking about his future and all this stuff. And then they kind of just have another fight, another argument.
I mean, I get that, though. It's like, it's really good character dynamics, too. It's got to be hard. You figure they're best friends. They've been best friends since, the beginning of undergrad?
Yeah.
So for 4 years now. And they're clearly at two different stages of life, right?
Yeah.
Like, Pete's going to go on. He's going to be,
an architect.
He's going to be an architect.
Yeah. I love that.
Teddy's got to stand there and watch that, and what does he have to show for it? Especially because I guarantee you, this archetype here, he thinks that he's going to be better than Pete in real life. He's the president of Delta Psi, right? So for him, he's definitely like, there's something wrong here. There's something off, right?
Yeah. You're right. It is a good character building moment for them. Okay, Mac and Kelly come up with a final plan, and their idea is to send a fake letter stating that the frat is off probation, so they'll host another party, at which point Mac and Kelly can then call the cops, get them in trouble, third strike. This is really funny.
If you try and skip the DJ impressions here,
I'm not going to skip the DJ impressions because they send the guys this fake letter, right?
Yeah.
And then they realize, oh yeah, the frat's going to do another party. So Mac, Kelly, and Jimmy, they all start like mass advertising this party in any way they can, and they start doing all these these impressions on the radio. And my favorite one, like they call in and he goes, "Hey, this is Nutsack."
Yo, what's up, Nutsack?
Well, we're having a party tonight down at the frat house at Delta Psi house. Hit me with like your some of your favorite impressions from this moment.
Okay, I'll do Ray Romano, and I'll let you do Mark Wahlberg. Hey, this is Ray Romano.
Hey, it's Mark Wahlberg. You should really come to my party tonight.
I'm going to give you a world-class knuckle sandwich. This is Barack Obama, and I'm telling you to come to my party tonight.
That's pretty good. You did a good job there. So all that aside, we end up getting the final party. So the frat hosts their year-end bash, which is the hot house. So this is Teddy's plan to get them onto the wall. Instead of a hot box, they're hotboxing the entire house. And I just got to think, this has got to be very uncomfortable. I could not imagine walking around in this house with all that smoke going around.
In theory, though, it does seem like a wicked idea for a house party.
Like, in theory, it sounds great. But, like, once you're in there, like, good luck trying to dance, man. You can barely breathe. Like, you're...
Do you think it really works?
I don't know. I don't know if I don't think I've ever been part of a hot box, so...
I like how they went about
I'm sure
it.
the dynamics.
The way they went about it with...
Like burning the weed in drums?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying. Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
To me, that made sense. Like, I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense. But like, would it work just throwing the fucking...
Yeah, they just throw pounds and pounds of weed.
Into it. Like,
I also love that, like, earlier in the movie, like, Seth has, like, a really hard time getting weed. These guys got their hands on kilos of the shit.
Yeah. Like, did you notice the guy home aloneing the stairs?
No.
Well, they're doing the montage of the hot house. Somebody grabs the exercise ball and decides to jump down the stairs on the exercise ball.
That's really funny. While the party's happening, the frat ends up getting wise to the old people's plan. They notice something is off with the letter that was sent to them. And I love this part from Jimmy because he's like, yeah, I hit a little Hebrew in the school seal, as like a coded game, like a wink, like a little, hey, here's what we're doing. And they start getting like, why the fuck would you do that? That's so fucking stupid.
We're fucking mid-heist.
Yeah, you do that after the heist. Yeah, it's like how people leave like a calling card. It's so great. And then after the frat boys realize the old people's plan, they start hootie-hooing, which is in reference to the Outkast song. And Mac and Jimmy start rapping it, and they're like, "Oh, damn, they're smart! Like they know what they're doing."
I love that because like Rogan knows the lyrics to that song for sure, right? Like
he's 100% knows that. So the party breaks up, and Garfield has to talk to the cop. And I know you really love this, so talk to me about this sequence.
Hannibal Buress again, like he's just fucking with him. He even says like, "I love fucking with you when you're high." He's like, "Go on, do something like the cat. Be sarcastic. Lick yourself."
What's your name? Garfield. I hate Mondays.
I love lasagna.
Come on, do some cat stuff. It's so great. Poor Garfield. So Mac, Kelly, and Jimmy have to audible their new plan. Let's restart the party. Mac knows where the power supply is. And I actually really enjoy this sequence because the whole party's been broken up. And the way that they shot this next part, it's really like, it looks like a level from a video game. I don't know if you know the Metal Gear Solid games or like any game where you have to do stealth mode. You know what I mean? It looks like that because it's kind of shot low angle as if they're crouching around. The lights are super bright, overexposed, and like all the frat brothers are patrolling like NPCs. And at one point, Franco even goes, "What was that?" And like they go run off to check like a noise in the other room. Like it's really funny the way they like shot this part.
Do you remember the names of the frat pledges that go with him?
No, what is it?
It's Shaggy, Scooby, and Jizzface.
Of course it is. Why wouldn't it be? So Mac and Kelly go upstairs with Jimmy. Jimmy decides to do a distraction and throw himself off the balcony. For whatever fucking reason.
I'm such a sucker for like broken legs in a movie. Like
it's always so comical.
It always looks so funny too. Like it looks so fake. But
the way it's completely bent at the wrong angle is just perfect. So they get upstairs. They're trying to figure out the code to Teddy's room. Obviously, it's 420.
Obviously,
I love that. Like Mac's like, "Oh, what are other stupid numbers?"
Yeah,
420.
Also would have accepted 069 because I think he said 69.
That's what I would have thought too. Yeah. Then we get the Ted and Mac fight. This part's really funny. Any moments here that you really like?
I mean, throwing the beer at the trampoline. It's fucking all time.
Because he yells, "I'm Batman," and then hurls the beer can at the trampoline. Then there's the dildo fight.
Yeah.
And Rogan ends up with Scooney's dildo.
I want to point out something here that I haven't seen in movies in a while, and that is the abuse of ceiling fans.
Oh, yeah. It's really good.
Maybe it's just Jackass that I'm thinking of, but I feel like people hitting ceiling fans was like a really big bit back in the like early 2000s.
Maybe, yeah. I remember the Jackass stuff you're talking about for sure because they did it on purpose. It would like jump into it.
That's what I mean too. Whether it's on purpose or not, I just ceiling fans took a lot of abuse.
Because what happened? Is it Efron tries to jump and attack him and gets hit by the ceiling fan?
It's
or is
Rogan.
It Rogan.
Rogan jumps on the trampoline. Yeah, and gets dummied by the ceiling fan, which is also a hilarious visual.
It's really funny too, like, because Rogan ends up using Scooney's dildo, and he's wielding it like nunchucks. He's pretty good with it. So, like, he had to practice with that dildo for quite a while to be able to do those, like, he was like throwing it behind his back kind of thing and like spinning it around.
There's no practice. Rogan 100% owns nunchucks.
Fair enough. After the fight, basically, Mac gets back upstairs. They turn the party back on. Everyone starts running in, and Kelly shoots a firework into Hannibal Buress's cop car. And he veers off the road and crashes. And he starts screaming. He needs backup. His shots are fired, that kind of thing.
Fucking Hollywood loves just taking like actors and shooting guns in the sky.
Yeah, because he gets out of the car and just pops off.
Like there's no need for that at all, but it's just like such a Hollywood trope that they couldn't resist.
Yeah, and then we see Paula. She uses Scooney, who I think we forgot to mention. She kind of has like an affair with Scooney.
Sure,
yeah. What did she say earlier in the movie? "Look, honey, it's a choker."
Oh my god.
So yeah, Paula uses Scooney to like use the outside power box to turn the party back on. So now the frat is basically toast. Mac and Kelly go home. And they discuss that they like old people stuff better than young people stuff. And I really feel this. Brunch, the smell of coffee.
I was hoping you'd bring this up.
Yeah.
Tell me some personal chat favorite old people stuff that you like.
Man, you put me on the spot.
I have some.
Yeah.
I love fresh bedding.
Okay, yeah. You always talk about this. I know this is true
when my
about
partner like goes out of town for the week or whatever for work, first thing I do is I grab the sheets, the blankets, everything. It's going in the wash and in the dryer. Like I want clean sheets. I'm crawling into that bed, probably high as a kite, and I'm sleeping like a baby.
It's funny because you do this every single night that she's away too. Like it's not just the first time.
No,
I know you do.
No.
Yeah, you do.
No.
You've probably been told not to.
I've been told many times that I'm not allowed to wash the sheets.
No, that's great. Yeah. What are some old people things that I like? Just like a quiet room, like a quiet bars and coffee shops. I don't like going anywhere where it's loud.
Okay.
It's just not for me.
You enjoy your peace and quiet?
Yeah, peace and quiet.
I'm going to hit you with another one. Fresh baked sourdough bread.
Sounds lovely to me. Honestly, sounds lovely.
We like recently moved to a new neighborhood. Found a bakery already. Fresh sourdough bread.
A good like sandwich.
Yeah,
is really nice. That feels like an old person thing because I don't know, kids aren't going out getting sandwiches. They eat what the fuck they want, like chicken fingers and fries every night. Like
what kind of kids do you know?
I'm thinking back to my uni days and like that's kind of what my fucking diet was like Jane's chicken fingers and fries.
I also just want to touch on how much I love coffee.
Oh yeah, the smell of coffee. Top notch.
I mean, I'll admit it. Like my partner's always buying like different kinds of like beans and shit. It all tastes the same to me.
Oh yeah,
I can't tell the difference, but it doesn't matter. I still love it.
It's fair. It's fair. I have to drink decaf coffee, but it's because
really,
I'm old.
I mean, half of it is the action of doing it. Yeah,
I like brewing up a little cup. I love the smell of it. It's a nice little ritual.
There you go.
Sometimes put a little bit of chocolate protein powder in there as a nice little treat.
Oh, I've never heard of that, but I mean,
try it sometime. It's amazing.
Okay.
There's another really great moment here too, where they're in bed and they're talking about all this stuff, and Mac has a slice of pizza. He's like, "Yeah, I brought the pizza in bed with us." So smart.
Bed pizza.
Then I think we get like a time jump, right? We get 4 months later, something like that. Mac runs into Teddy outside of Abercrombie and Fitch. And he joins him. He takes his shirt off and joins him and stands there. He's like, "I always wanted to do this."
This is so good.
I love the way that he's going. He's like, "Abercrombie and Fitch, may I take your order?"
It's like
why? It's not a fast food spot.
He keeps saying, "Can I take your order?" I don't.
It's great. It's really great.
Just run it into the ground. I don't care.
And then we end with they're doing a Stella calendar. Just so wholesome. Just a very wholesome moment there. Anything in this ending that I didn't touch on?
I appreciate this when they do like the little time jump. Just like movies don't really do that anymore. And this is a funny bit because it doesn't really have anything to do with the movie. Like, I mean, they just kind of thought like this would be a funny visual maybe to market the movie or whatever.
Yeah.
Just stick Efron and Rogen outside and let them riff, right?
I really appreciate it too because they didn't slouch on the jokes either at the end. Like you run into a lot of comedies where like the end comes and it stops being funny.
Yep.
Because they have to wrap it up, all that stuff. This one doesn't stop being funny because you get the pizza in bed, the old people stuff, but then with the Abercrombie Fitch, you get the "May I take your order?" And then Efron's always like, "Yeah, you're like relaxed fit."
Yeah. So I mean, they probably just let them riff, right?
A couple good quips back and forth there.
Now, my question for you is: do you think this was like a controlled environment where this was written into the script, so they went and shot it as such, or do you think this was like a funny idea that they had post and they were like, let's, as a marketing thing for neighbors, maybe let's go find an Abercrombie in an outlet mall or something, and then like you guys just go have fun, right?
I want it to be the second
one
more,
that one too.
But I bet it's not.
It's probably not.
I bet it's not. It's definitely not. Especially like movies are very controlled in terms of permits and where they can shoot. Especially if you're doing it at an Abercrombie and Fitch store, they definitely had to get paperwork done for that.
Well, fuck, chaps, couldn't let me have that.
Nope. So closing thoughts on the movie. What do you got?
Yeah, I mean, I really enjoyed it. Like, I honestly think I kind of slept on this movie. I haven't seen it in a while.
Mm-hmm.
But this is like a great rainy day, get high, Sunday, maybe take a nap midway through.
Yeah.
You can wake up at any point during this movie and enjoy it.
Yeah, I totally agree. Overall, really enjoyed the movie. Had me laughing out loud multiple times. It's funny from the first 5 minutes. It only ever really falters like once or twice towards the end where like they're trying to get the strikes going against the frat. But other than that, there's just so many great bits and moments to remember.
You just got to buy into the movie, right? Because there's so many holes that you can poke in it. Like the movie could have ended halfway through the second time Rogen brings him the joint. You know, it's just like it doesn't matter. We're not here for that. Like we're here to have fun.
Enjoy the ride.
This is the kind of comedy that truly does make me nostalgic for like the Rogen era, for, you know, like the Will Ferrell era. Like we never got post Rogen.
That's true. Yeah, we're still trying to figure out who that is, right?
Right.
Yeah,
and you think back and damn, I just wish he kept making these movies instead of, you know, you can't blame the guy venturing out into like production and
doing his own thing,
Boys,
writing and
making
directing.
phases.
Yeah. Okay, so I want to jump into top scenes and MVC and head to head really quick. So why don't you hit me with some of your top scenes?
All right. My top scene is obviously the airbags.
So I had airbags tied with De Niro party. For me, they're like, one's like, think about it funny, one's just fucking slapstick funny,
That's the
right?
best way to put it, right? Like one is like written very funny.
Yes,
The
exactly.
other one is just, I'm going to fucking keel over and die because this is hilarious.
Totally agree. Totally agree. It's so
Or
fucking
I'm
great.
going to go buy an airbag and put it under one of our friends' chair.
Oh man, I need a Mythbusters episode if that actually will launch you that high.
That's a really good point, eh?
Yeah.
I'm surprised somebody on YouTube hasn't done something like this.
There probably is. Like,
Youth on TikTok.
yeah.
Do you want a lot of views?
Before the app is shut down, give us that video.
What else do you have?
So I said De Niro party. The first party that Mac and Kelly join, the whole sequence is so much fun.
Yeah.
It's a really like, I don't know, like kind of just encapsulates the soul of the movie in that whole sequence there. So that one.
Maybe not necessarily like funny, but I like all the scenes too that just kind of like remind me it's okay to be old.
Yeah.
Like things to look
Yeah.
forward to. Like I think there's one part we kind of skipped over where Rogan comes home from work and he picks up Stella and he just goes blah, 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 and then goes, wow, parenting is easy.
That's really
Like I
funny.
fucking pray to God that's true.
Next one I like. Your baby has HIV.
Yeah, Jason Mantzoukas.
Is how badly this could have gone. What a great fucking line. So good. Anything else for you?
I mean, I think we covered a lot of them, right?
Yeah, my last one is Garfield talking to the cop because it's just so
Anything Garf is in is great. Yeah.
All right. MVC, most valuable comedian of the movie. Who do you got? What are your arguments?
Oh man, I think this might be the toughest one we've had so far. I am going to give it to Rogan though.
Okay.
I think his delivery on a lot of the lines, like I don't think anybody else could say it as funny as he could.
That's
and I think
totally
a
fair.
lot of it has to do with just him.
Yeah,
The way he looks, the way he talks, like
totally agree.
the role is written perfectly for him. And that, I mean, that's my argument.
I agree with that. I had it. It comes down to Rogan and Efron for me because Efron's also doing it. Like, I'm trying to think of like who else would have played the Efron role in this one and been as great. Like at the time you have maybe Miles Teller.
Yeah, I
But
could see Teller.
Like, I'm trying to think of like who else is around that age can play that frat guy, but Teller can come across as a jackass and unlikable a lot easier than Efron. Like there's some charming quality about Efron where you're like, he's funny. He's a funny guy.
Yeah,
you
I
know?
buy into that. But
Yeah.
I do agree that I think you can replace Efron easier than you can replace Rogan in this.
I think, yeah. I that's debatable to me. I think they're both kind of hard to replace because I can't think of really anybody else who could play the Efron role in this one unless I'm just blanking on people from that era.
I mean, you have a whole, well, yeah, in that era, well, that's the thing, right? Are we talking then or are we talking now, right?
Well,
'Cause I
talking
can even
now,
see,
yeah.
If you're talking now, there's a whole slew of these actors, right?
But back then, I don't think there was.
Yeah.
But okay, I'll give you Rogan. I buy into
Yeah.
that.
And I mean, I'm going to shout out Ike Barinholtz too, because his physical comedy is top notch.
The way he says a coded game, a little wink. The way he gets at that is like so
He
funny.
sells me. He does.
Yeah. All right, we're going to do head to head where I give you a couple movies that are from the same year as Neighbors, and you let me know if it's better than the movie or not.
Yep. Hit me.
So 22 Jump Street.
Oh, that's a tough one. I don't think this is better than 22 Jump Street.
I think I agree with that. I think I agree there. Have you seen That Awkward Moment?
I have seen that awkward moment. Interesting take on like a bro rom-com, I guess. Yeah. Not so much funny, but I enjoyed the movie. It's not better than this.
When I saw that movie, because I was researching like movies from that era and I saw that movie come up, I'm like, they kind of tried to make a trio out of like, I think, is it Michael B. Jordan that's also in that? Yeah, it is. It's Michael B. Jordan and
Teller.
And Teller. And I forget the third guy who's in it.
Efron.
Is it? Oh yeah, it is Efron. Fuck. But they try to make a bit of like they were the next up and coming guys kind of thing, and there is a couple of movies that have them all in it, and they sort of just went away as like a. I don't know. You think about the Rogans with his crew, and then you had before that you had Farrell and his crew. It was almost like they were trying to start the new crew, but it just never came to fruition. The Interview.
No, I actually hate that movie.
Yeah, me too. It's not that good. Sex Tape.
No, we've talked about sex tape before, and I mentioned that to me, that's more of a horror than a comedy.
Yeah, that's fair. Let's Be Cops.
I do really like that movie, and I think it's slept on, but it's not better than Neighbors.
That's fair. Then I just went and tried to find some other movies that revolve around frats and stuff like that. Not many other than like the big ones of like Animal House, but we've kind of already talked about Animal House on the pod before. But you got Old School.
Old School's a good one.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's tough. I think this might be better than Old School.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of like quotable lines from Old School that I still remember to this day. But when I think about Neighbors as a movie compared to it, I like Neighbors
Ooh,
more.
interesting you say that, because now I feel like I might go the other way. The staying power of Old School, the effect and impact that that's had on us,
Yeah,
maybe it is better.
that's fair. Something to think about. Something to talk about.
We'll have to include it on the list.
And then American Pie Beta House. There's like a slew of these random ass like frat movies that are all basically American Pie
I
spin-offs.
actually think this is the last American Pie I saw. And while I enjoyed it, I think I was probably like in my teens when it came out. And I'm sure I was like, oh, this is the sickest thing ever. College is going to be wicked. This was not my college experience at all.
No.
I think growing up, I thought frats were going to have way more of an impact on my...
Well, we thought we were going to have frats in Canada.
That's just not a thing. No, it's not better than this movie.
Fair enough. Okay, let's take a quick break. And when we're back, we're going to do an edition of Writer's Room.
Thanks everyone for listening. If you're enjoying the episode, share with a friend and follow us on Spotify, Apple Music, or YouTube.
Okay, we're back and it's time for Writer's Room. I'm going to go first this time. It's been a while since we've done Writer's Room. I think we gave ourselves these prompts on the Austin Powers episode.
We did, yeah.
Yeah, so we skipped over Dodgeball to do movie resolutions. The prompt that Rip gave me on Austin Powers was Austin Butler, a family comedy, and a delicious cheesecake. Which I was like, yeah, I'm down. I'm in.
You love cheesecake?
Yeah. So Austin plays Richard, who is a 30-something teacher who's coming home from a semester teaching abroad. One day, he's like catching up with his family, and his niece shows him her new favorite show. It's a YouTube show with this world-famous YouTuber named Carly Cakes, who bakes all sorts of ridiculous and delicious treats in the form of popular kids characters.
Okay. Can you name one kid's character?
SpongeBob.
Okay, sure. Is the SpongeBob still cool?
Yeah, it's the SpongeBob cheesecake. So it turns out Austin actually knows Carly Cakes. They went to school together as kids. And then his niece asks him, can you get me a Carly Cake cheesecake for my birthday kind of thing? She's like stoked on it. Obviously, he agrees. And so starts this sort of ridiculous journey of reconnecting and getting Carly Cakes to make a dragon-themed cheesecake for his niece.
I love that.
Yeah. One of the bits I have, maybe not a bit, but like a sequence in the movie would be Carly Cakes is going town to town judging amateur cheesecake making competitions. Obviously, this is your shot to enter and get in front of her and get her to make that cheesecake.
I love that.
Yeah, so that's the movie I came up with.
I have one question for you.
Yes.
It's a dragon cheesecake?
Yeah.
What color is the dragon? As in, like, what's the topping? Are we doing like a red dragon with like cherry cheesecake?
So it's like a blue dragon, blueberry.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm into it.
Cool. That's all I got for this one.
That's fine.
All right, what do you
have
what
to
do you
write
got
a
for
whole
me?
movie for me. That was great.
Yeah, what do you got for me?
Okay, so you gave me Simu Liu, a slapstick comedy, and botany.
Right.
So Simu was a grad student specializing in botany. Knocked out 2 right in the first sentence. He's very type A by the book, but...
Does botany not play a part in the fucking movie other than his schooling?
Shut up and let me finish. So he's very type A by the book, but he's also a pretty well-known awkward klutz to his peers. One day, a few students in his cohort asked him to join them on a camping trip, solely to try one of their peers' homemade mushrooms, because botany, obviously, like, somebody's doing mushrooms, right?
Yeah, someone's trying to cultivate a new strain.
Simu's apprehensive at first, but ultimately he's trying his best to make friends and branch out.
Yeah.
Did you get it?
There.
Okay. And
Yeah,
branch out, so he goes. This is where things take a turn. While tripping, Simu swears he finds the piranha plant from Super Mario Brothers.
That's pretty funny.
Now, it's not the Venus flytrap. It's the exact red and white spotted motherfucking piranha plant.
That's so good.
The only difference is this one talks.
Oh, what? I feel like this is the second movie where you've had talking objects. And I'm here for it.
I am such a sucker for this trope.
Yeah.
The next morning, Simu wakes up, retraces his steps, but nothing. Okay, no big deal. He was high, right? Wrong.
Piranha plant.
He goes home and comes back with a big enough pot to plant the piranha plant in, and he scours the forest looking for it. So ultimately, he does find it, and the movie becomes a question of whether he should capitalize off his discovery or simply keep this to himself and enjoy his budding friendship with the plant.
So is the plant like on board with him repotting the plant? Like if the plant is like out in the woods, like just enjoying free ranged soil and rain, I can assume, is the plant down with this plan?
So like this is what I think the theme is kind of, not the theme, but the tone of the movie. I want you to think, because you did say slapstick, like I want you to think of it as like a Harold and Kumar TV sitcom roommates kind of thing where like Simu and the plant don't really get along, but he brings it home anyway. And it's like, oh man, Simu's by the book, but the plant eats all of his cereal and then bonks him on the head with a big wooden spoon because he wants more. Like that's what I'm thinking here.
That's pretty funny. I like that.
Like Simu worked hard all day. He's coming home. He's looking forward to like, that snack or that treat. No, piranha plant ate it all.
Damn, piranha plant. Got him again. That's great.
I just want to riff for a second with you here. Who could you see voicing this piranha plant?
Jack Black.
I was going to say Jack Black.
I knew you were going to say Jack Black.
That's actually fucked up.
There's only one option. Like I know Jack Black was Bowser in the Mario movie, so it's kind of like a little whatever, but I don't know. I want Jack Black voicing a piranha plant.
Okay. New suggestion. Because Hollywood's making this movie, they put Kevin Hart in it as the piranha plant.
Okay.
Do you still see it?
Yeah, I'll probably see it.
Yeah.
It's just ridiculous enough.
I'm less enthused, but I'm still seeing it.
Yeah. I don't mind Kevin Hart. Like I think some of his movies are good, some of his movies are bad. It's one of those kind of things.
Fair enough. Okay, for next time, I want you to give me a sports comedy with Will Poulter and Bill Burr.
Ooh.
I want you to incorporate an imaginary friend.
I like that. That's really fun. Next week, I am giving you a rom-com.
Okay.
The object is going to be a mysterious locket with seemingly supernatural powers.
Alliteration there. Eh?
And the actor is Jenna Ortega.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah. So let's see how you get out of this one. All right. Tell the audience what we're doing next week.
Okay. Last one of the season.
That's it. Yeah.
Let's get some more Sandberg up in here. I'm thinking Palm Springs.
Palm Springs it is.